Well, hello, everybody. I am going to try this again. We were about 3 minutes in on the last broadcast before Facebook decided to let me down. So, before I launch too far into this, let me see if I really am live. Is anybody here? Okay, I see my mom popping up. You found me. Great. Welcome. I'll announce the top of the show. Greg, you made it back. Thank you. Facebook is giving me troubles today for no apparent reason. It booted me out. All right, Eric, welcome back. Really glad you're here. Dorothy, all right. Let me do the show opening again, all right? Bear with me because then it makes a nice complete show if I do that, all right? And Jessica, you made it. Yeah, we had like a little failure on the last broadcast, so welcome. All right, here we go. I'm going to open the show like all official like. Are you guys ready? Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to LBL Lunch Break Live. Real Talk About Obesity, Food Obsession, Recovery, and what's really eating you. On today's show, do you have the courage to say yes when you need to say yes and no when you need to say no? What would I know about something like that? That's where we started this last time. Well, I am a recovery strategist, but I'm also a 2007 gastric bypass post-op, living life in recovery from obesity and compulsive, obsessive overeating as twice the woman in half the body. I courageously choose to live the freedom of recovery and face my fears every single day. So I do know a thing or two about courage. And now I began greeting you guys before Facebook kicked me out, and I see people finding me again. Welcome. Let us all pray that we have a nice strong signal, all right, so that I can actually get through the show. So I had some newer viewers. I don't know if they made it back or if they're like, wow, I don't know about this show here. I mean, it's really flaky. If that's all there is, I'm not coming back. Hopefully you will give me, have the courage to give me another chance. All right, so here's what I would like to know. What does it say? What are you saying? You just drove by Krispy Kreme. Yeah, well, I hope you just kept right on going there, Eric. All right, so listen, you guys, how many of you guys who are here, welcome, Belinda, come on in. I had to start the show again, but come on in. How many of you guys saw Live from the 405 this morning? All right, anybody? Greg, I know you did, okay, but who else, and Mom, I think you watched it as well. Who here, and whether you're live or on demand, doesn't matter, leave me a comment, let me know. Did you watch Live from the 405 this morning where I announced what I was going to be talking about? All right. And yes, you didn't stop. Good job, Eric. All right. So Regina, my newbie, our new post-op. Goodness. So I guess the drugs were off a little bit. She joined the losers bench yesterday. You go, girl. High five. Welcome. I'm really glad you're here. All right. All right, so Dorothy, you saw it, and Angela. Hey, Angela, can I say the thing? You have to let me know if I can make the announcement at the end of the show and say the thing. Now everybody's going to be like, well, of course, you have to let her say the thing because we want to know what the thing is. So just like I sent you a message this morning, you got to let me know if I can say it. And if I can't, I won't. It's all good. All right. So anyway, you guys, right on. So those of you who saw, hey, Mary Kay, welcome. Come on in. Those of you who saw Live from the 405 this morning, you know that I was talking about courage. And I touched on a few hot button subjects, specifically like alcohol and WLS. And, those are like hot button issues and stuff like that. So I'm going to definitely get into that on the show today. That's not going to be my primary focus by any stretch of the imagination, but just know, brace yourselves. I'm going to be talking about it today. All right. So if you guys did join me then, I talked about how important courage is to living recovery, right? How it takes courage to do the things you've never done, were afraid to do, believed you'd fail at doing because you had failed at them, because you, never succeeded at doing them, or didn't believe you could do in the first place. So all of that stuff takes courage, personal fortitude, okay? So on today's show, I do want to talk about what courage is, why it matters, and I totally love to define things. Love it. I love words. I want to find the origin of words, the history. I want to find nuances, ways of looking at words, defining them in ways I had never considered. Okay, today is no exception. All right, so here goes. Here's what I found out about courage when I did a quick search. You ready? This is super cool. Love this. All right, so courage is also called fortitude, as I mentioned. All right. Courage is the ability to do something that frightens you. It is strength in the face of pain, loss, and grief. Okay? Courage in the face of pain, loss, and grief. In action, it is the choice and willingness to confront agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation. Okay? So in other words, courage is not the action, but when put into action, in other words, when allowing the courage to motivate you, it is the choice and the willingness to actually confront things. Okay? So whether it's agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation, right? Physical courage is bravery in the face of pain, hardship, and even threat of death. We see this a lot exhibited in, our men and women in military, our soldiers, okay? People who put their lives on the line for other people, our police officers, all right? People putting themselves out there to defend others, people, private security guards, things like that, okay? So we see people facing their potential deaths, okay, in the face of what might happen to them. They do it anyway, okay? They show up. They suit up, they show up, they go for it. So that is physical courage. But guess what? Moral courage. Moral courage is fortitude in the face of shame, scandal, and discouragement. I think a lot of us see and witness moral courage here online and social media especially, right? Where people are willing to stand up for things, even if they're like lambs to the slaughter and everyone will pigpile on them, even if they are facing shame and scandal, all right? And even being discouraged and saying, well, I wish I'd never said anything. We see that a lot, don't we? All right. Now, here's something very interesting. When I looked up courage, I also saw this. Doubt is the lack of courage or cowardice. Trust is brave. Well, I've been talking about trust this week, Trust is brave. Doubt is lack of courage or cowardice, okay? So those are some kind of definitions, words, very important words that we would associate with courage. May or may not have considered it, but there you go. Especially grief. I thought that was a really good one. Okay, it takes courage to grieve. Okay, here's what a few people in history had to say about courage, all right? I picked a few really good ones. All right, without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. That was Maya Angelou, okay? Without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. Got it? Okay. Recovery sounds a lot like something you got to practice consistently, so you need courage. Courage is rightly esteemed as the first of human qualities because, as has been said, it is the quality which guarantees all others. That was Winston Churchill. All right? Winston Churchill said that one. I like that. Courage is the capacity to meet the anxiety which arises as one achieves freedom. Courage is the price that life exacts for granting peace. You want to know who said that? Amelia Earhart. Wow, that was so profound. Associating, directly correlating courage with freedom and peace. Wow, so profound. Courage is, of course, not the absence of fear. It is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. How many of us have heard that? Do we know who said it? Some of us may attribute it to everyone from John Wayne to, someone from the Mark Twain, right? Anybody? Susan Jeffers. Susan Jeffers is, that quote is attributed to her. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Be scared, but don't be afraid. That was William Faulkner. I liked that one. There is a difference, Courage is the ability to ignore your options, which might look like running away, right? Or just saying, I can't do this, or giving up, okay? Courage is the ability to ignore your options. And I do not know who said that first, but I saw it online, and guess what? I'm going to say it again here. So, you know how I always say that I don't eat things from my abstinence list because they're not options, right? So that's why I'm going to say it here again. And I'm like, even though I didn't originate it, I'm owning it for recovery. I'm appropriating it for recovery, okay? So I do not eat things from my abstinence list because they are simply not options. And apparently that takes courage, right? So maybe that's where some of the courage I always remind you to have at the end of the show, right? Have courage, right? I always sign off that way. Maybe that comes in handy, in times of saying no, when you have to say no. But we're also going to talk about saying yes when you have to say yes, okay? All right, so courage is also the first of 3 qualities that are mentioned in the Serenity Prayer. If you guys are familiar with the 12-step program with AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, OA, Overeaters Anonymous, any of the 12-step programs out there, the Serenity Prayer, first 3 lines, first 3 traits, guess what? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The what? Courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, well, Winston Churchill said, courage is the quality which guarantees all others. And what that means is you need courage to choose peace. You need courage to believe what you know and learn what you don't. Okay? Courage. Maybe you didn't think about it in those terms. So what does courage look like when we're talking about recovery? Because that's why we're all tuning in today, right? I mean, we're like, okay, I get it. Courage on the, in battle, on the front lines, being willing to take a bullet, whatever. I get that, all right? Or standing up for things like maybe in the political, atmosphere, in the political arena, being able to stand up for something, right? And even though I may not agree with you or you don't agree with me, I still stand my ground, and that takes courage, okay? A lot of us look at that as courage, all right? But what does courage look like when we're talking about recovery? Okay, well, for me, okay, because usually when I'm talking to you guys, it's because it's coming from my experience. In other words, I know stuff because I experienced it, and this is what I'm sharing with you as I experience it and as I perceive it, all right? So, for me, courage is about facing my fears and believing that I have value. And courage is what motivates me to do things I never would have done before and say things I never would have said before. Courage enables me to stand up for what I believe and defend others for what they believe, even if I don't agree with it. Courage reminds me that I'm not alone, but no one can do it for me. Courage says I can live life in recovery from obesity and food addiction. I can live without a whole bunch of foods on my list, okay? Yeah, courage. Courage says I can live without drinking. It does. It's a pesky virtue that inspires me to tell people that I don't think it's a good idea to drink after bariatric surgery. I have the courage to say that. That is what I believe, okay? I have the courage to say that getting wasted is just what it says. Wasting the gift of life that we have been given. If we are treating the disease of obesity and reclaimed our health, well, we have really reclaimed it. We have snatched it from the jaws of death. I mean, I don't think that's not hyperbole. Okay, that's not rhetoric. I'm not demagoguing it here. I think that if we suffered from morbid obesity and we choose something as significant as weight loss, bariatric surgery to treat our disease, it is because we have comorbidities, so-called because they will kill you, in addition to the weight that you're carrying around, right? The pressure that it's putting on your heart, the pressure that it's putting on all of your joints, the pressure that it's putting on your body so you can't even sleep at night, okay? So I'm going to say that when we choose something like bariatric surgery, we are snatching our very lives from the jaws of death. Not hyperbole, right? So we're talking also about not just the physical stuff, we're talking about mental, emotional, and spiritual death too, right? How many of us said, I give up. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I can't do it anymore. I'm worthless. I feel like a failure. I'm hopeless. Okay, that's death. That is emotional death. Giving up and saying, I can't. Mental death. Spiritual death, saying, I'm not worth anything. Nobody loves me. No one could love me like this. Okay? That's spiritual death. So I think that when we choose to treat our disease that is killing us in every aspect of our lives, then when we choose to drink, well then, we are, it's like we're just giving the gift away. I don't get that. We are wasting it. Okay, you guys know I treat depression, right? Talk about it a lot on the show. I've done shows devoted entirely to living with depression. And sometimes it gets me. Oh my gosh, I'm on antidepressants, okay? I'm doing my work. I'm doing the things I need to do to treat my depression. Okay, but sometimes it gets me. That black dog that we talk about, it gets me. I want it to go away and it won't. And I just do the best I can to survive, okay? A lot of people who have the disease of obesity also have depression, right? You guys have shared that with me. You suffer from depression. You have said that. So why then, with a history of depression, which by the way might have been born from trauma, very common to this population, why would anyone think it's a good idea to regularly consume a drug that is a depressant? I don't get it. That's all. It's logic here. This is not morality. This is not ethics. This is logic that says if I suffer from depression and if I have a disease that I'm trying to treat, I do not want to trade one disease for another. I do not want to exacerbate my condition by consuming something that is going to make it worse. I don't understand that. All right. Why, if you deal with compulsive overeating, would you be willing to take a chance at transferring one obsession for another? Why? There is evidence. Okay. Everyone says not me. Everyone says that won't happen to me. But there is evidence. Where does evidence come from? Statistics. People who report that this happened to them. Do you have any idea how high that number is of people who report, who are willing to report that they traded one obsession or addiction for another? The euphemism is transfer addiction. Okay? Why would anybody be willing to take a chance to transfer from one obsession to another? How many here watching the show today? I know one in particular, and he has mentioned it. He has talked about it, all right? How many here have traded alcoholism for obesity? Well, if it can go one way, why can't it go the other? Logic. Is denial so strong? Lack of courage so strong that we can't even logically see that this is a two-way street? I'm incredulous. I am incredulous for anyone to tell me that they are shocked that their doctor didn't tell them not to drink. I'm shocked, okay? You've seen it happen. It goes both ways. Yeah, okay, I'm a little worked up. Calm down. Bring it down. Bring it down. Why do you think there are so many private, secret, closed Facebook groups out there entirely devoted to the shame and horror of addiction after bariatric surgery? I say shame, not because I'm shaming anyone, but because the people there, they are ashamed of themselves. They are dying from being consumed by the shame that they feel because they know. They said, I traded a chance at life in, freedom from this oppressive obesity. I threw that away. I am ashamed. That is what people say. They have lost respect for themselves at best. And they've lost everything that ever mattered, including their health at worst. Okay? So that's reality. Okay, that is not, again, not hyperbole. That is not me making stuff up. This is not me trying to scare anybody or prove a point that hasn't already been made 1,000,000 times by people with degrees and letters after their names and the authority to say stuff like that. All right? Books written about it. Why do you think books are written about it? Because one person suffered from it? No. Guarantee you. You don't buy a book that only one person's going to read. All right? You don't write a book that only one person's going to read. So yeah, I do courageously defend my position on alcohol because it's a poison and it is a loaded gun in the hands of someone who already has proven that moderation is not in their vocabulary. Yeah, you know what? I pulled the trigger a lot of times with food because I have trigger foods. Please. Okay, but once I have surgery, I'm not going to pull the trigger anymore. Certainly not on like alcohol. I'm just going to point it at my head. And okay, I know. You know what? Don't joke. Don't you joke about guns. Don't you joke about that. I hear you. What else do you call it? What else do you want to call it if you're killing yourself? I don't know. Maybe you think you're doing a slow death that way. I don't know. I am very upset about it. I don't like it. All right. What about you? All right. Maybe you don't want to take a stand on alcohol or addiction, and that is absolutely fine. And you do not have to. You do not have to. It is okay. But do you want to take a stand for your own recovery? It's a good question, huh? Do you want to take a stand for your own recovery? Do you have the courage to stand up for, to well-meaning friends? Well-meaning friends. And the people even in support groups, here, online, in person, at the hospital, support groups. Do you want to stand up to those people who say, you can't be addicted to food? Quit labeling yourself. You're just setting yourself up for failure if you identify yourself as an addict. Do you have the courage to stand up to your family who might also be addicts themselves, and probably are because addiction is a family disease? And then say, because here's what they're going to say to you, right? Do you have the courage to stand up to this? Oh, you think you're better than us because you had weight loss surgery and now you're all skinny and you're going to make us feel bad for eating? Yeah. Do you have the courage to stand up to that? See, this is where it gets a little squirrely. This is where it gets a little tricky. This is where we get fearful and we want to choose the option of running and hiding, isn't it? Or, I don't know, the option of eating because we're afraid. And it's what we always do when we get stressed, when we get panicked, when we get fearful, when we have anxiety, right? When things don't go our way, we eat. It's what we do because it's an option. So courage says, even when it is an option, you don't do it. Okay? So that's what I'm exhorting you guys to do today and every day on this show. Do you have the courage to say, I have a problem with some foods, especially simplex carbs and sugars. And though I am afraid of living without them, I have the courage to say, I am more afraid of living with them. I need support, but I have to have the courage to raise my hand and say, I will do this with help. I will own my crap and admit things about myself that horrify me, that I detest, that I am ashamed of, that I denied. I have the courage to stand up and own that crap. Because this is what courage in the face of addiction and obesity look like. That's what they sound like. So I just got to know, what does courage mean to you? All right? I'm putting it out there to you guys. Okay, I started a little late because I had to restart. So we're right up against the wall there, though. What does courage look like to you? What do you struggle with? What do you fear? What do you say, I don't have the courage to do this, and that is why I fail? What is it? What does it look like? Share, even if it's sharing offline, even if it's sharing when we're not live, okay? All right, I'm going to look back here, and I am going, wow, you guys have been going to town here. Might be a big subject, you think? Might be a topic worthy of discussion. All right. Let me find some people. Hi, Claudia. I'm glad you're here. I know you watched live on the 405 this morning. Joan, I haven't seen you in a little while. How's Greg? All right. Let's see here. And thank you for sharing the show, Claudia. Thank you so very, very much. And Anna, I already said hi. Oh, last time. Then you came back. Okay, I'm really glad you found me. All right. I have the most beautiful necklace. Thanks. Okay, this is from Hannah, and she just doesn't know it. So hopefully, fortunately, she doesn't watch my shows. So hopefully when I get home, I can sneak it back into her room, step over the pile of clothes, lean on the bed, put it away, and she'll never know I ever had it. All right, but I wanted something different today. Thanks. She has great taste, doesn't she? Okay. God, she's moving out. She's moving out. I'm not going to have access to some of these necklaces. All right, I'll worry about that later. All right. I have the courage to believe that I can live without my daughter's necklaces, and I will be okay. All right. Susan, hi, welcome. My skating buddy, by the way. My skater buddy. She can skate backwards. And she says she doesn't look good doing it. She can do it. All right. And by the way, she does look good doing it. All right. Let's see. Claudia. Okay. Heather. Hi. I haven't seen you in a while, Heather. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. All right. Greg left the most adorable little emojis that I can't see. I see one thumbs down. I see death, a death, and then a beer. Nice, I can see them. See, this is why I need an iPad, you guys, so like I have a bigger screen so I can see what you guys are saying. And Yadelis, hi, thanks, I appreciate it. All right, keep going. That would be me. Yeah, Greg's my buddy that said, yeah, I went ahead and traded alcoholism for obesity, right? And he's like, duh, right? I know, Greg, I know that about you. You're like, how I didn't think those two things were connected is beyond me, but thank God I do now. That's really what this is about, right? Who cares what you didn't know? Now that you know, yay. All right, let's see here. My only addiction has been food, nothing else. Well, as long as you got that one under control, maybe it was, you don't need to worry, but just don't pick anything else up to see if maybe, like crocheting. Some people, Mom, can be addicted to things like crochet hooks and yarn. I mean, it can happen. I don't think they have like a 12-step program for it. Let me think about that. CA, Crocheters Anonymous. I don't think so, but it happens, trust me. This is how everybody in the family ends up with little bottle buntings so that they can carry their water bottles around because they're all, and then like slippers. Okay, for people that are maybe obsessed with crocheting. Not that that's you, Susan. And Mom, I love you. All right, why do you think I hid your crochet hooks? I'm totally kidding. All right, let's see here. Angela says, I was a lightweight before surgery and now even more so, one and done. Yeah, right? I mean, good for you. Be done. All right. Shopping is what I transferred my addiction to. Yeah, hi. I did that for a while too until I decided not good, not healthy, not going to make me happy. That's why I apply the fabulous rule. It has to be a fabulous price and look fabulous, and then I really, really, really have to need it. You'd be surprised how infrequently that happens anymore. Shopping. Angela raises her hand. Me too. I am a shopper. You keep the, I'm not going to talk about who you keep in business, Sunshine. I'm just not going to. I have a connection to that. I'm not going to. All right. I guess a new addiction I've had for almost the past year is support groups. Yeah. I currently attend 6 a month. I'm looking for more. They help me stay focused and on track. I don't know. I don't want to call it a good obsession. I'm going to say it's attention. It's good attention. It's where you put your attention. I don't think you're addicted. I think you're attentive. I really think there's a difference because addictions are to the exclusion of all else. They're an imbalance in your life where other areas of your life suffer. And I don't know, but I don't think the other areas of your life are suffering because you're taking care of yourself and getting support. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. All right. I know I have the possibility to overdo it with alcohol, so I stay away from it. And we all have to make these decisions for ourselves. I cannot tell anyone what to do or what not to do. We all have to make the decisions for ourselves. If you make that decision, I encourage you to continue. I applaud your courage to stand for that. And I wish you well in that continued recovery. Because you know what? You never regret not drinking, ever. No one has ever regretted not drinking as far as I know. I'm going way out on a limb with that. No one has ever regretted not drinking. Okay? Man, I'm so bummed that I didn't get wasted. Cannot even hear myself saying that. Wow. All right. Let's see. Angela, in my area, not very receptive to outsiders. Okay. I don't know what it means. When I watch it back live, maybe I'll understand. And Jean, hi, welcome. Boy, you're coming in on a real, wow, fireworks, corker of a program. You have to watch from the beginning to see what I was talking about. Carrie, I'm glad you made it. Yeah, you got to watch from the beginning too. Let's see. Yeah, not very receptive. I have to find out what they're not receptive to. I know you'll let me know. All right. All right, support groups. Sugar addict here on my abstinence list, have been for 2.5 years. Go you, high five. High five, Beth, right on. By outsiders, I mean surgery elsewhere. Got it, understood. So in other words, if you haven't had surgery at that group, they do not allow you to attend support group there, right? Got it. And that's really a shame because last time I checked, support was for everyone. But whatever. If they would like to pay to not have people, to not have butts in the seats, fine. And that happens, unfortunately, when they exclude people. All right. Oh, Karen, hi. I love you too. Thanks. That's so sweet. You guys are so sweet. I do feel loved. And I hope you feel it back. Even when I get, fired up. I hope you guys know how very much I love you and have compassion for the journey that we are all on. For you. You're suffering and, struggling. I hope you get that from me, okay? I hope you get that, wow, I couldn't do this without you. I really appreciate you. So thank you. Thank you guys for showing up. Courage to me is just doing it. Right on, Mary Kay. So you're saying, look, I don't care if I'm afraid. I'm just going to do it. This is sad. I have not felt that in any of my groups. I know, Susan, I'm going to say your group is phenomenal. I'm familiar with Riverside Harupa, right? And then also there's a Kaiser group in Orange County that's phenomenal. There's some really phenomenal, welcoming groups that are just so supportive and terrific. They get it. They understand what support looks like. Support does not look like, are you a card-carrying member of this hospital or this doctor's group? It says, do you need support? It doesn't even ask if you've had surgery. It says, maybe you're trying to support someone who has. Come on in. This is what, this is home. We welcome you with open arms. It's really a shame that more programs don't do that, but the fact that yours does, see, you're the beneficiary of that, and let's hope. Let's hope through the work that we're doing here, we can open the rooms, and certainly open this program to people that aren't being supported elsewhere, all right? Please share this with your support groups, by the way. Let's see. And Melissa, thank you for sharing the program, as always. You're so generous with that. All right. All right. And, okay, there we go. And Kristen, good. Hey, you've been busy. You've been a busy bee. You watched live on the 405 this morning. Live from the 405. Thank you so much. All right. Duh. Greg. Ray, you made it. Okay, you got to go back. Funny man. You got to go back and watch from the beginning. My brother exercise, meaning an addiction, like an obsession. I'm not sure. Is that like an arm muscle? Is that a muscle? That's so cute. All right. Addiction to smartphone use. Yeah, well, I know, right? Addicted to numbers, the scale and the numbers on my clothes. All right. Ditch it. Ditch it, pitch it, done. Do not let the tyranny of numbers rule your life. Be free from it. You will not die without knowing the numbers. Cut the labels out and pitch the scale. I am not kidding you. I am not kidding you. That is not freedom. Recovery is freedom. Do you want freedom? Get off the scale. And when you go to the doctor's office, do not look and don't ask for the number. I'm telling you, there is so much freedom in that. So please do that and let me know. Others who join the program have done that. They have pitched the scale and they have said, guess what? My clothes are fitting better, but I don't know how much better. I just know I don't know what the scale says. I don't care. I'm just feeling better because I'm not focused on it. Okay? So do that. Do that. I love you too, Mom, so very much. Simple carbs and chocolate and sugar. So those are the things that you are looking for, Claudia, to have the courage to face down and stand up to, right? All right, you guys, I have gone long. I'm going to sign off. Thank you for finding me again after our technical difficulties. Thank you so very much. I'm really grateful for you. I'm grateful that you had the courage to be here and listen to me. And I would invite you to please have the courage to share this show with others. Hey, I will never sugarcoat it because, as I always say, sugarcoating is what got us here in the first place. So nothing but truth served up, a healthy portion of it with love. All right, you guys? I will see you tomorrow. I have a webinar I have to go to, so we got to see about show prep, and just watch for me. Watch the airwaves and watch for me, but I got to do a webinar first. All right, so you guys take care. Have what? Courage. Seek peace, which, oh, I don't know, is found because you have courage and you do something about it, right? Right? Like throwing the scale away. Have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, courageously live your recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Bye.